What's up, YouTube universe? This is NSN Lone Wolf, and welcome to a 3-on-3 Freestyle Ranked stream. Alright, let's get into it. So I'm just going to be solo queuing. Today, Iceman is unable to make it because he's partying somewhere. Just kidding. But, yeah, so I'm just going to play solo on Ranked. Hopefully we get some good randoms. And yeah, get some dubs. What up, Tide Pods? What have you been up to, man? I've just been chilling, playing some 3-on-3 today. I haven't seen you around in a while. Is it because that one day you were like, 3-on-3 sucks? I hadn't played in a while, so I went back down to A tier, so now I've been working back up to S tier, and I'm going to try to get double S tier today. Hold on, I got to switch my TV to...
Hey, y'all ready?
I'm looking through the stream right now. Hopefully I don't get the ball or have to play defense.
You see that rebound?
Alright, well...
Oh, solid pass right there. D's looking sharp. Oh, damn!
Right, I'm back. Now I can see. It's just like, whenever I start the stream, I have to be set up on my computer.
Going for the three-pointer. It's in. Y'all ready? Check. Shooting. D's looking sharp. D's looking sharp. I'm open. Shooting for three.
Let's go.
Y'all ready for this?
Oh, he wants to switch already? He's jacked though. That's his spot. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to block me. Oh!
Right
good
there.
Defense. Hey, let's go. I got the ball. Passing it out to that guy.
Pass.
Boy, hit it. Ah, good try, good try. Hit the rebound. Oh, I got it. Let's go.
Straight racking up those assists. Coming up on the great shot.
Let's go.
Y'all ready?
It's a chance. Pass me.
Go!
Oh, I was looking at chat. My bad.
Highlight reel.
I re-downloaded it, the game Thursday, and more BS happened, so I didn't want to play. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I get it. Yeah, this game will do that to you. It pisses me off. But lately it's been better now.
Him up. Y'all ready?
Oh, you want to see 3-on-3, but you don't want to play it for now. Okay, that makes sense.
You see that steal?
Ooh, nice steal, boy. Oh, no! Oh, no!
From oh, that's smooth.
Let's go, hit it.
Straight
Hey, they passed it out to me. Let's hit that 3, even though I hit red. Let's go.
Y'all ready for this?
I don't know. Playing pretty good today.
Check.
I know I'm playing against not as good players,
solid pass
but
right
that's
there.
okay.
Going for a jump shot with authority. Hey, y'all ready?
Let's see what you got, Jack. He's probably gonna pass me. Hiya! Just kidding.
From outside.
Oh man! Oh, it's open. What is this game?
Long.
Oh shoot! I should stop messing around.
Big rebound. Oh, solid pass right there.
I was
Coming
messing
up on
around
the
there,
buzzer.
but-
It's in.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I was messing around too much. But what?
Y'all ready
I
for
wouldn't
this?
say messing around. That was stupid. That was wide open shot.
Go.
Over here.
Going for the three-pointer. Yo, ho, ho, ho. All net, baby.
Let's
Y'all
go.
ready?
I just wanted to make sure we got
Don't
a
need a clutch play. Ayo,
guaranteed
racking them
shot.
up.
Alright, let's hold the ball now.
Final seconds. Y'all ready? Check.
They're all after me. Hit it.
Game.
Let's go. Oh, man. That's why you can't trust teammates always. He was wide open earlier on that other shot, and I was like, I kind of want to take my own shot just in case. Squilliam? Okay, okay. We don't have a 3-point specialist, I just realized. I kind of upgraded my Liu because I like for threes because I saw yours hitting threes and I'm like, I kind of want that for my Liu. So I have all silvers for 3-point shot success rate.
Hey, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Check. Hey, chip out. Chip out.
Nice, William.
Key rebound.
Oh, I
You
was
see that
open for
steal?
a 3.
Uh-oh, they
It's all
D'ing
good.
up. Oh, perfect pass. Straight racking up those assists. Big chip out. Shooting for
Oh, I
three.
was open. All you had to do was pump fake and then pass it out.
Clutch rebound.
It's all good.
You see that? They full on defense right now. Flashing some nice moves. Coming up on the buzzer. What a rebound. Coming up on the buzzer.
Defense.
And it's in.
I don't think he was talking to me.
Y'all ready for this?
'Cause I was covering Cindy pretty well. And...
Go. From outside.
Oh, come on,
You see
buddy.
that?
See, this is
They
what happens when
full
I don't
on
play
defense.
3-point
Nice
specialist.
block. Nice pass.
Oh, he juked
Keep
me
it
and that was
moving.
good.
Going for a textbook dunk right there. Y'all ready?
That a start?
Go.
I don't know. I'm getting tired of teammates
Driving to
though.
the basket. Aye, impressive.
We need threes.
Hey, y'all ready?
What are you doing, dude?
Nice
You're tricking me.
pass.
Golly.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Racking up those assists. That's a
I got lucky,
now or
though.
never, baby. Nice pass.
Oh, I'm open.
Jump shot.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to
I mean,
rule in the paint.
it's okay.
Y'all ready for
I gotta
this?
stop blaming them and just go ham.
Check. Catching some air. What a rebound. Straight racking up those assists. Ooh, perfect pass. Now or never, nothing's getting through. Y'all need to make it happen right now.
Hit that 3, please.
Nice pass.
Come on, dude.
Long
Oh my god, I passed it to
Never,
you.
babe. Final second.
Shit, man.
Getting it done in the clutch.
Alright.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done to play with you because I really need
Nice
at least
pass.
someone helping me out here.
Rule in the paint.
We could get double S. Now that everyone's pretty much their rank,
I know that was an easy
it should be
game, right?
easier now.
And today's
Give
MVP
me a like,
is
please. Thank you for subscribing.
But the thing is that what I've noticed is when I solo queue, I play against easier people. But then the second I have 2 people or 3 people, we play against triple S's, double S's, and we're not even there yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would like for you to join. That would be nice. Let me see if I have anybody else that's pretty good. We got Tide Pods here. Little Sky's a triple S, but I don't really know him. I guess he's my friend. I don't know. I don't remember who he is. Gore is decent, but she's a bit of a ball hog. She'd be like, pass me the ball. Pass me the ball. It's okay. She's got 150 of these? I didn't even realize. Yeah, watch, like I used to use this one and this one, but now I'm just using this because you're like hitting threes with yours, and I was like kinda, I wanna do that, you know. Box out speed. Iceman is currently at a water park right now with his friends, so that's why he hasn't been around to join us. And now that someone joins, it takes forever to find a match. It makes no sense, dude. Makes no sense. But once the Astro rank comes around, that's where I'm a triple S. Everywhere else, I would say I'm a double S. But when it comes to the Astro one, I could just be Ox Queen the whole time. So that's why I'm triple S there. Yeah, for real. Ox Queen is weird. Like, she'll make open shots, and then sometimes she won't. Oh, now we're playing... Kira is a triple S. Oh, man. It makes no sense. I was playing single S's. Now I'm going to play a triple S, because I played against Kira. They're good. I'm sure it's Jack. But yeah, she is weird when it comes to threes. I need to get some more. I need to get like at least a gold. Then I'll be more secure with her hitting threes.
Y'all ready?
I trust you.
Check. Big rebound. Oh.
Oh, it's wide open,
Not
dude.
happening.
Ooh, I'm open.
People make mistakes.
Nice pass.
Oh, good try. Nice rebound.
Look, you see that steal? They D'ing up. Nice pass. They looking for the bucket.
Shoot.
Great shot. Y'all ready?
Remember, I always have to pump fake, so
Check.
I should probably not pump fake when it comes to...
Dialing long distance.
What?
Ayo, nice rebound. Y'all need to make it happen right now. Watch this. Nice.
Makes no sense. The other one was, you'll try big? Okay. And then I'll try big once, because...
Go. Oh,
Nice.
snagged it. Going for the three-pointer.
Oof. I'm
Big
probably
rebound.
shooting too far is what it
Solid
is. My
pass
bad.
right there. Racking up. Y'all ready? Check.
Nice. I'm open. Hit it.
Straight racking up those assists.
Well, I'm getting a phone call.
Shot. Y'all ready? Go! Racking them up. Y'all ready for this? Go! Solid pass right there. Uh-oh, they D'ing up.
Aquí, I'm open.
That's a great shot. Y'all ready? Go! What's the big block? From down, now or never, baby. Coming up on the final seconds. That's a great shot. Y'all ready? Check. In the hole. Hey, y'all ready? Go. It's up. They just keep pounding.
Sorry, hold on. I'm in a
boards.
conversation.
They switching to the D.
So that's why I'm a bit.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? Check. You see that rebound?
I'm here.
They going for broke. And it's in.
Nice Tide Pods, nice.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. That
Good
was
try, good
key.
try.
Y'all ready?
Oh no, I meant to send it to you.
Check. Solid pass right there.
Let's go!
Swish.
I haven't been able to screen in a while.
Y'all ready for this?
But I was able to get that good screen. That's cool. Nice shot.
He's flashing some nice moves. Shooting for three.
Oh no, I got boxed out.
Oh, now that was smooth. Y'all ready? Go!
That I know you
From
can't
downtown.
afford.
Got the trifecta.
That's pretty funny. I don't sing and I just randomly sang in the middle of the... Sorry, I'm listening to music too. I normally don't sing. That was terrible though. Sorry, Tide Pods. I'm just chilling, listening to music. And then I'm like embarrassing myself over here. Hey, that's good though. At least I'm getting used to streaming. Quite embarrassing though. But good job over there, Tide Pods. Killing it with them threes. And then you're playing good defense. Let's go. That's all I gotta say.
Y'all ready? Check. Nice pass. Jump shot from downtown, racking them up.
Good try.
Y'all ready for this?
Ah, shit. They're all...
Check. Oh!
Let's go!
For broke. You
Oh, what?
Now right.
That's some bullshit. That was wide open. That is bullshit. You juked them out. Nah, this game is... Nah, it's not even your fault. This game is terrible.
What's it gonna be?
No! No! Come on, dude. You can't shoot those. We're losing. You gotta shoot threes. Come on, dude. Teammate sold right there. We needed a three and he shoots a
Y'all ready
two.
for this?
And then he can't play defense. Come on, teammate. Nice shot.
From downtown. Making them look bad. Hey, y'all ready? Check. Solid pass right there. Straight racking up those assists.
Oh, okay, good job.
That coming up on the buzzer. Straight racking up. Nice.
He's not gonna hit that. He's not gonna hit that. Yeah.
Anyway,
Told you.
game.
Told you he's not gonna hit that. Boom.
Pass right
Oh! Jack was scary right there. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about. Tide Pods. You the man. Alright, we just gotta protect the
Y'all
three.
need a clutch. Ayo, final seconds. Jump shot.
Oh, my fault. I didn't get over there in time for defense. Alright.
Y'all ready?
I trust you, Tide Pods. I'm gonna go straight in just in case. Oh no! He's lagging! Damn!
We going into overtime.
Good try. I'm lagging now. What the hell? No!
Y'all
Oh my gosh! Come on. Okay. All right. I'm back.
Ho ho! Clutch rebound.
We lost Tide Pods. No!
Throwing down monster jam.
Oh, you're lagging out. I think. Yeah, bro. That's so sad. We needed you. It's not your fault though.
Straight
Oh.
racking up those assists. Nice pass.
Come on, miss that.
Straight racking up those assists. All straight racking up those assists. All around.
Dang. We could. Did you lag out completely?
Y'all ready?
Oh no! Tide Pods is gone forever.
They leave.
Hey-ya!
Oh, whoa!
That was scary. I just dunked on a freaking.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Jump shot. Unbelievable.
Cat.
Y'all ready for this? Go. He's flashing some perfect pass. Oh, jump shot. It's in.
Will work.
Y'all ready for this?
Too bad there's no returning to the game.
Keep racking up those assists.
Oh no, AI Tide Pods! You can't be doing that, AI!
Y'all ready? Go! Jump coming up on the Ayo! Finals big rebound.
No!
What it?
Should have just dunked it when I had the shot.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? Go! Squeeze that ball. You see that steal? You see that? They full on defense right now. Straight racking up those assists. They just
Dang,
keep
that's
taking
game.
it to 'em. Hey, y'all ready? Go! Perfect form. Swish. Y'all ready? Go! That D's looking a bit ragged. Solid pass right there. What a pass. Oh, and it's in. Y'all ready for this? Check. Pushing right
That
through.
sucks, man.
With
That you lost points for that.
authority.
That was an easy win, too.
Y'all ready? Go! Nice pass. You know, there was never any doubt on that one. Y'all ready for this? Go! They playing a nice block. Now right here, D is gonna be key.
Give me an alley-oop.
I'm open.
Pushing right through. Coming up on the buzzer. Pushing right through. Oh, it's in. Y'all ready? Go! You see that steal? All right. Nice hustle. Nice hustle. Getting a bit physical. Y'all better speed things up. We're coming up on the buzzer right now. Great shot. Y'all ready for this? Go. Pushing right through. Now that's a block. Going for the three-pointer. Dang! Y'all ready for this? Check. Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. Coming up on the buzzer. In the hole. Y'all ready for this? Check. Almost out of time. Final seconds.
To the dog.
Come on, cheer up. Today's MVP is...
Give me a like, please. Thank you for subscribing.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Oh, big rebound. Oh, that's smooth. Never any doubt on that one. Y'all ready? Check. Don't blink, yo. Oh, racking up those assists. Y'all need a clutch play. Going big. You see that rebound? Solid pass right there. Dialing long distance. Uh-oh, they D'ing up. Oh, yeah, dialing long distance. Coming up on the buzzer. Straight racking up those assists. Ho-ho! Uh-huh, nice pass, nice pass. You see that rebound? Solid pass right there. Anyone's game. Straight racking up those assists. Swish!
Hey, what up, Hayden? Sorry I didn't answer. I was in the middle of a conversation. I'm buying a car right now, so that's why I didn't realize you were there. So be right back, Wolf. All right, bet. Yeah, I'm on mute because I was buying a car right now. I just bought a '96 Mustang, so that's why I wasn't talking. I was talking with my brother. So they went and checked out the car for me, and they were like, "Oh, it's a nice car." And oh no, I got stuck! Oh no! Let's go! But yeah, I went on mute for a second there. Good shot, Tide Pods. We're going ham right now. You're doing hella good. 4 for 5. Let's go! Oh man! Oh, the Ugg Squid was open. What is he doing?
Right there.
Nice defense. Nice defense. Oh, come on. Good try. Good try. It wasn't your fault.
Y'all ready? Go!
Ooh, kill him! Oh, good try, good try.
Y'all better speed. Ayo, final second.
Oh, what am I doing? It's okay, we already won, so.
Trifecta.
See, I started messing around. Once we start winning, I don't know why I start messing around and playing lackadaisy, but
Check.
we're good. We're 4 points up ahead of them. Good job, let's go. Hey, we got a center. I think I played with Jose L Pro. I think he might even be on my friends list, to be honest. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, okay.
Y'all ready? Check. Clutch rebound. Oh, solid pass right there.
I'm so sorry, I should have shot it.
Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass.
Let's go! I'm sorry, dude. I should have shot it. I have a bad habit of getting scared of Jack. He's a little scary, you know? That's a 2. We're good. My bad. Sorry, guys. Fudge. I should play under better defense.
Hey, y'all ready?
I got a pump fake.
Go!
Ah! That's scary! What? Oh, what? He didn't even jump. That's stupid. Alright, good thing we have a good rebounder. Let's go.
Y'all ready? Check. Hey, yo, that D's looking a bit ragged right now. Going big.
No way. Yeah, no way.
Oh,
good try. Good try.
Nice drive. Nice drive. Y'all ready? Check.
Let's go.
Shooting for 3. Swish.
What? 16% defense? He was nowhere near me. He just jumped in the middle of nowhere. What? That is some baloney. At least I made it.
Perfect form.
Dang it.
Oh! Big rebound.
Nice shot, boy. Let's get it. I gotta pump fake the next time I get the ball.
For this?
I'm back.
Go.
Over here, honey.
No way. Okay, that looked like it was going in. I was like, no, that can't be possible, boy.
Right now.
Oh,
nice pass.
No way. Oh, dang, that leaves going ham.
Not today. Going for broke.
Oh, I thought I had quick shot. I missed. I made it. Let's go. I thought I had quick shot, so I let go of the button.
Check.
Let's go.
What's the goal?
Whoa, he lagged.
Nice drive. Y'all ready? Go. Nice pass.
Let's go.
Town. Squeeze that ball. Straight racking up those. Y'all need a clutch play right quick. In the hole.
Good job, Jose. Good job, Tide Pods. Oh, I'm getting another phone call.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Oh, big block. Nice pass. Ho ho! Clutch rebound. Almost out. Ayo, final sec. Nice pass. Oh, big rebound. Big block. from downtown. Y'all know that was an easy game, right? And here's the MVP of
Give
the
me a
match.
like, please. Thank you for subscribing. Ah!
Y'all ready? Check. Big rebound. Nice pass. Oh, that's swish. Y'all ready for this?
Switching, please.
Go! Don't blink, yo. Squeeze that ball. You see that? They full on defense right now.
Make it fast.
Oh, solid pass right there. Coming up on the buzzer. SWAT Ted. Launching a trifecta. Unbelievable.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, Typods.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, I get scared of Jacks, man. I don't know why. Like, it's because they're scary, dude. Like, they could come out of nowhere and pack you. Oh, good try, good try. Yeah, they're scary.
Y'all ready?
Lius are not so scary. I got a pump fake and then I'll pass it out.
Straight racking up those assists. Going big. And it's
Let's
in.
go.
Y'all ready for this? Check.
Good try, good try.
Right there. Y'all ready? Go. Dialing long.
Let's go.
Taking it to 'em. Y'all ready?
Hell yeah, Typods.
Check.
Ooh, he tricked me.
Oh, that's smooth. Big chip out. Anyone's game here. Going for broke. It's in.
Let's go.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, no one scares me but Jack. Liu kinda from time to time, depending. Oh man, I let her open. Oh, perfect, perfect.
You see that rebound?
Hit it, Typods.
Nice pass.
I got a pump fake, so.
Don't you even think about
Let's go. This is scary, man.
Y'all ready?
You got the Jack hitting threes, got Liu,
Check.
Ox Queen
Going
hitting
for
threes, and we got a good rebounder. Pretty
You see
scary
that
right here.
rebound?
Pretty scary defense.
It's now or never, baby.
Over here.
Ayo, find
Oh, I'm
us.
sorry, that was my fault.
Don't
Lackadaisy defense. But I know we're winning, so
Y'all ready?
I won't do that when we're losing or a close game.
Check. Banging right through him.
Nice.
Man, I got hurt just watching that. Hey, y'all ready? Check.
Nice. Alright. That was a good win. I'm glad that we're getting centers right now. This is nice.
It's not over. Get over.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this?
Let's get it.
Check. Squeeze that ball. Ooh, perfect pass.
Mr. Right here.
From
Nice.
downtown.
Yeah.
Big rebound. Straight racking up those assists.
Let's go. That's why I like Liu. She can box out. Teammate got boxed out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get right there, get in the middle of them, and get that rebound. I know my class setup says defense. I haven't changed it. It should say 3-point, but yeah.
Y'all ready? Check.
No way.
Woo!
Woo! He hit that? Good defense. I mean, good shot.
Y'all ready for this? Go.
Let's go.
From outside. Great shot. Y'all ready for this? Go.
You don't hug. You don't hug. You don't hug.
Banging right through. D's
my
looking
fault.
sharp. Oh, perfect pass. Y'all better speed things up. We coming up on the buzzer. Oh, massive slam. Y'all ready? Go.
I'm open.
Straight racking up those assists. Oh, y'all better hurry up. We coming up on the buzzer.
Oh, what?
Big rebound. Racking up those assists. You see that? They full on defense right now. Y'all need a clutch play. And
Good try, good
there
try.
it goes. Y'all ready for this? Go. Nice pass.
Oh! You're open!
Keep racking up those. Almost out of time. Big rebound.
Oh no!
Now or never, baby. From downtown. Now that was key.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't mean to say slow down. My bad, my bad. My bad, guys. Sorry. Just
Y'all ready for this?
got something. Damn
Check.
it. Nothing part of the game. I just realized something.
Oh, from which way's it gonna go? Y'all need to make it happen right now.
Oh, what? How did I not? How was I not able to jump?
Almost out of time. Y'all need
Nice.
a final second.
Good job, Typods.
Don't blink, yo. They just keep.
Oh no!
Nice pass.
Oh no!
Now that
I'm sorry. This was my fault. This was definitely my fault.
Ready for
Fudge.
this? Check. Keep hustling. Ain't over till it's
Mom,
over.
I'm so sorry. That was my fault completely.
We going into. Y'all ready?
Ah!
Check. Big chip out. Uh-oh, they D'ing up. Catching some air. Almost impressive.
Shoot, my fault, guys.
Y'all ready? Go!
Nice.
Solid pass right
What's
there.
going on? Game's lagging.
Going for 3. Putting it back. D is gonna be key.
Yo, kicking it smooth.
Oh, we have no more
He's actually some nice
timeouts.
moves. Y'all need a clutch play.
Yo, kicking it smooth.
They leaving it big.
Alright, we need to get a quick 3 in.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Oh, big intercept.
Oh no! Aw, it's not your fault in any way. I'm so sorry, guys. I got distracted. Fudge, man. I'm so sorry, Typods.
Y'all better speed things up. We come. Ayo, final seconds. Huge rebound. All around
Nice.
threat. Y'all ready for this? Check. It's up.
Shoot, man. That's terrible. That was definitely my fault. What is he gonna play? Alright, I'll play center. I'm so sorry, dude. Ugh! I'm still feeling that. It's okay. We'll win. Oh shit, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Oh man. Sorry guys. Just thinking. I think I switched my aux preset on accident. It's okay. We'll still get this dub. I hate when that happens, when you accidentally
Y'all
change
ready for
it and
this?
then now your character's not hitting.
Go. Huge read. Straight racking up those assists. Right to the hole.
Good job.
Y'all ready? Check. Dialing.
Nice! Way to get there, Typods.
Coming up on the buzzer. Oh, perfect pass. Oh, solid pass right there. Oh, snagged it. Straight racking up those assists. Going for the highlight reel.
Nice. That's game.
Y'all ready? Go! Going for a jump shot. Racking up.
Good try.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Catching some air.
That was scary.
Impressive.
But let's go.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Trying for a jump shot? Impressive. Y'all ready? Check. From downtown. Oh, you know they going for the highlight reel.
Trying to think.
Y'all ready? Check. From downtown.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, and then I didn't even get the rebound. I'm just distracted right now.
Y'all need a clutch play right quick.
I'm here.
Over here.
Is he here?
Which way is it gonna go? That was key. Y'all ready for this? Check.
If you shoot to 2, I don't really want to pass
Pushing
it home
right
again.
through. This one's for
Twos,
the
we don't
highlight
need any
reel.
twos. They can still come back.
Y'all ready?
I don't think they can, but they still
Go!
can.
Beating that D. Gonna stuff with.
I thought I had that definitely. I was like, let's go.
Y'all ready? Go! Launching a trifecta. That's a clutch rebound. Oh, solid coming up on the buzzer. Racking
Nice
up.
shot. Your Liu is killer,
Y'all
dude.
ready for this?
And then that outfit you got for her?
Go!
Awesomeness.
Almost out of time.
Give me an alley-oop.
It's final seconds. Huge rebound. Straight racking up those assists.
Nice. Good game.
Solid pass right there. That was one heck of a game. And here's the MVP of the match.
People call me Air Lou.
Let's go. I'm almost SS. What about you, Ty Putz? How many points you got? I'm like 5 games away. I played against G Wood. I don't know if he's good based off of the character he's using. Hopefully I'm better than DMT Fuego. He's a double S. Probably maybe a single S center. But we have a double S, so we should be good. I think we played with that double S on our team last round. Alright, I'm going to try my best to get this. But no trust here, defense.
Y'all ready?
Because I don't think I'm going to
Check.
get this.
That's a big
Yeah.
chip out. Keep racking up those assists.
Here, let's go! I got it!
He's flashing some nice moves. Solid pass, right? Nice pass. They
Let's go, good shot.
taking it to him. Y'all ready? Check. He didn't
Let's
see
go.
it.
Oh, what? No.
Driving to the
Get out my boy! Don't try to dunk on me. Oh, I tried to pass the teammate, but it's okay.
Flashing some nice moves.
You got this, Typods. I believe in you. Oh, wait, whoa, 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 whoa! Oh my gosh, that's scary. I don't know what that is.
Now or never, baby.
Oh, why'd the teammate pump
See
fake?
that rebound? Y'all need a clutch play right quick. Dang.
Nice shot. That was hella contested. Let's go. You got it.
Go.
Yeah, you're close then?
From
Okay,
outside?
okay. Perfect. If you're close, that's perfect. We'll get double S.
Y'all ready? Go. Shooting for
Can't
3.
nothing. Hold me
Impressive.
down. Let's go, Tide Pods. Can't nothing.
Y'all ready?
Hold Tide Pods down.
Check. Going for 3.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. That was my fault.
Y'all better speed things up. We come this up. Oh, that was
Dang! I let the Chloe dunk on me, but I can't let the freaking.
Y'all ready
Oh
for
my
this?
gosh! I'm so. This sucks.
check.
That was sad.
From outside, swish.
Can't believe that
Y'all
Chloe
ready?
just did that double clutch.
Go.
Uh-oh.
Over here.
Oh, he driving to the back. No.
Oh, get out of my house, boy!
Straight racking up those. Oh.
Get out of my house, boy! This is Packfest today!
You see that, Steve?
Oh no, oh no!
Don't blink, yo. In the
Let's
hole.
go! Hopefully our
Y'all
teammate
ready?
can come back.
Go. What a pass.
Oh, he got me
Going for the
good.
three-pointer. Finger
Sorry
beauty.
about that.
Y'all ready?
Oh, I saw our teammate moving. He's moving again. Let's go! He's back!
Shooting for three? Y'all
Yeah.
hurry up.
Oh, man.
Final seconds. Now
Good thing we got the lead here.
Oh, what a pass. Oh, it's a solid D.
Ooh,
now
nice
that was
shot. That was
smooth.
fully contested and everything. Alright, not bad. I tied with the center. Double S center.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Check. Big chip out.
Nice.
Keeping it moving.
No!
Doing
Don't
what
shoot
it
twos.
takes. Y'all ready? Go. Nice pass. Impressive.
Alright, it cancels it out, so whatever. We're 0-0 now.
Y'all
Let's
ready?
go.
Go. Long distance call. Swish.
Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
Y'all ready? Go. Ayo, nice rebound. Nice pass. Now it's in. Y'all ready? Go. Nice pass. Now that was key. Y'all ready? Check. Solid pass right there. Nice pass. Jammed with authority.
Hey, welcome back, Hayden. Sorry, I was in a conversation earlier. I was buying a Mustang, a 90s
Going for the
90s
three-pointer.
Mustang, so
You know,
that's why I wasn't here. But welcome back.
y'all ready?
Me and Tide Pods are kicking ass right now. We're undefeated today. What is this guy doing? Is he lagging?
Y'all better hurry up. We're coming up on
I
the
think he
buzzer.
might be lagging. He's definitely moving weird. I'm gonna jump now.
What?
Yeah, he was lagging. Welcome back, though, Hayden. Like I said, me and Tide Pods are kicking ass today. We're undefeated. We're trying to hit SS tier. What color? It's black. It's a 96, I believe. So I was talking to my brother, and they went and checked out the car for me because I live in Arizona, and where the car is at, it's in California, and that's where my family's from. So I was like, hey, can you go check it out for me? Oh, it's black. It's like this black. Not blue. My bad if I said blue. Solid black. It looks pretty good.
Y'all ready?
I'm pretty stoked about it.
Check. Straight racking up those assists.
Good try, good try. Yeah, I got it. Let's go. Come on, hit it, hit it, hit it. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, boys.
Y'all ready? Go.
We got this, dub. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Oh no, teammate, you can't be doing that.
Making them look bad.
Come on, Smith.
Y'all ready for this?
We could lose at any point if you don't play defense, but earlier I wasn't playing defense. Let's go.
Great shot.
Boom. Yeah, I have 3 Mustangs and I've owned 4 Mustangs in total.
Going for the
Oh, my fault, guys. Alright, we can hold the ball. I have a blue one. I have a red one. I had a white one, but not anymore. Oh no!
Coming up on the buzzer. Solid pass. Final set. Straight racking up those assists. That's a clutch rebound. It's up.
Let's go. Good defense, guys. Good defense.
Nice.
I am so sorry.
You know what? That wasn't half bad.
Let's go.
Today's
Give
MVP
me a like,
is
please.
Good job,
Thank you
guys.
for subscribing.
So how was your weekend, Hayden? I would say about maybe 3 more games, 4 more games around there, and then I'm double S. Well, right now we're in a groove. We're in a groove right now, Hayden. We're almost there, Hayden. We just need, let's see. I would say 3 games away. What about you, Typods? How many games away are you? But once we get double S, you could join. You're more than welcome to join once we hit double S. My weekend's been good, man. It's been a chill weekend, you know. I played some Wasteland 3 with Iceman yesterday and the day before. Had a lot of good times there. I haven't played as much 3-on-3 this weekend. And so I got to S tier, and then I didn't play for a week, so I went back down to A. But now we're about to hit double S today, and then I think that'll call it for the season of ranked for me. Alright, not bad. We got our teammate, and then we got DMT Fuego again. Oh, it's the same team. We're playing the same exact guys, so we should win this. DMT Fuego was a pretty good center. We went even. Yep. Same teams as... Oh, they didn't want none. These guys didn't want none. They're like, nah, we saw Tide Pods. We saw NSN Lone Wolf together. They ain't a team to mess with. Oh, no. Now we're playing a real team. We're playing a triple S. Alright, alright. We got Kendall. Smith. Smith was alright. Oh, these guys are definitely triple S. Anytime you see a Ox Queen or a Fox together, definitely a triple S team right there. Yup. Boom. Guessed it, boys. I know this game too well. Triple S this season? Alright, we can do that. We can try. I'm more than happy to try. Well, this game will determine if we're going to be triple S this season right here.
Y'all ready? Go!
For my P6 ability, I have dive and catch.
Impressive. Y'all ready? Go! Going for
Oh no! That was a pump fake!
what?
Oh my gosh, that was supposed to be a pump fake! Bro! Bro, are you kidding me? I did not mean to shoot that.
Go! Oh, from
This
outside?
game, I swear, if we lose this game by 2 points, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Y'all ready?
Because that was stupid.
Go! Going for the 3. Hey, yo,
Nice!
Justin's getting-
Let's go!
Y'all need a clutch play right quick.
We don't need
No
to,
question
but
about
that's
that.
okay. We're good. Hell yeah, let's go. Good job, Tide Pods. Way to get there on that pack.
Straight racking up those assists.
Come on, shoot it too. Shoot it.
Hey,
Oh!
D's looking a bit.
Good Tide Pods. Good shit, Tide Pods. Thank you for support.
Hey, y'all need a clutch.
Oh, what am I doing?
No question.
Oh my god, I got lost.
Y'all ready? Check. That D's looking a bit ragged right
Dang.
now. Stole it.
These guys are really
Oh, they in the
playing
zone now.
good defense there. Dang.
Y'all ready?
Alright.
Check. Ha! Launching a trifecta. Impressive.
Damn.
Y'all ready? Check.
Damn. I'm sorry, Tide Pods.
Smooth. Swish. Y'all ready? Go.
Oh, I tried to pass it to you, Tide Pods. I clicked the wrong button.
Nice pass. Rack
Good
it up,
shit,
up.
Tide Pods. We got this.
Y'all
We
ready
can
for
still do
this?
this. I believe in us.
Check.
Oh my god, if I keep doing that, I'm not going to be able to.
Swish. Y'all ready? Check. Going for broke.
Oh, what?
Going big.
Dang.
What a... They just keep taking it to him.
Ugh. That's on me.
Y'all ready for
this
this?
round right here.
Go. Y'all need a clutch final seconds. Solid pass right there. Doing what it takes.
Plus, they know he's shooting too, so they're just going to cover
Y'all
me.
ready for this?
Ugh.
Go.
That's my fault, though.
Beating that D. Dunked it.
We were doing pretty good, too.
Hey, y'all ready?
It was, what, 12-11 or
Check.
something like that? 11-12?
Not today. It's up.
I think if we had Iceman, it would have been a little bit easier. Because then I would have had you at 3-point. They're going to be double covering you. So I'm going to try to play Ayla, try to maybe assist you, maybe get myself open. We'll see. They had me on lock. Everywhere I went, there was someone. I went right, there was someone. I went left, there was someone. Well, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, we went, how many? I think we went like maybe 4 games without losing, so wasn't too bad. Plus, this is
Y'all ready?
not
Hey, y'all
cool
ready?
that we're playing. We're barely single S, so we're playing triple S. I know I could beat triple S's
they
because I've been
switching
triple
to
S
the D.
before. And then when you're triple S, that's all you play. But I'm not a triple S right
Hey, y'all
now.
ready?
I'm not playing like it.
Go. You see that?
Oh, good
steal?
try. You see what I'm saying? They're crazy.
Solid pass right there. Oh,
Ah.
yeah, baby.
Wherever you go, that's where they're at. There's one guy, you go left, you go right, that's where they're at.
Trifecta.
Oh my gosh.
Ho ho! Clutch rebound. They switch into the D. Squeeze that ball. That was key.
You going to
Ready for
spec?
this?
Alright.
Check. Beating that D.
Good try, good try.
Big. Nice pass.
Ah.
Nice pass. They switch into the D.
They're good.
Don't you? Y'all need a cracking them up. Y'all ready for this? Check. You see that steal?
Damn.
You see that? They full on defense.
Damn, I'm
What
sorry,
it
Tybuds.
takes.
Ugh, that was.
Y'all ready? Go.
You're lagging? Damn. It's okay. I was game anyways. We had a tough game.
Y'all need to make it happen right now.
Ready to jump. Maybe an alley-oop. Oi, maybe an alley-oop.
Oh, no.
Ready to jump.
Y'all ready for this? Go. Banging right through him.
Oi,
Hey, he flashing some nice moves. Alley-oop? Oh, that's tougher than it looks. Y'all ready for this? Check.
Oh wait, I forgot you're lagging. My bad. Dang it.
Y'all need a clutch play right quick. Oh, no. Y'all ready for this? Check. Coming up on the Ayo, final seconds. Going for him. Jammed it. Big time. Y'all ready? Check. Ain't over till it's over. Squeeze that ball. They full on defense right now. Keep those chins up. You get them next time. Today's MVP is...
Yeah, that's strange. It's been happening a lot to Iceman too, so I know what you mean. Iceman lags out every couple games. I gotcha, Typods. That sucks, man. They threw us into a sweaty game. Like I said, if we had Iceman in here, it would have been an easy game. Not an easy game, but a close enough game. Oh, hey! Kira's part of my team. I didn't realize that. Do you think you'll be able to come back, Typods? Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Alright, I'm back. I was on the phone again, talking about the Mustang. Right now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to take it, where I'm going to put it. If I'm going to put it in my house or if I'm going to keep it in California. So... Hayden, if you're still there, just let me know and we'll invite you, see how it goes. What rank are you, Hayden? I'm gonna try to cancel out and then oh, I'm getting another phone call.
Hey, y'all ready? Go! Oh, big rebound. Oh,
Oh my god!
nothing but.
I thought I had freaking quick shot. I don't know what I was thinking.
Y'all ready?
It
for
makes no
this?
sense. I made that. That was a lucky make.
Go! Oh, perfect. Now that was harder than it looked. Y'all ready for this? Go! Dialing.
Oh shit.
Denied.
Thank you,
Don't
Tide
blink,
Pods.
y'all need
Appreciate
a
it.
touch. Oh, that was key. Y'all ready? Go! Keeping it moving. Oh, this
Good
is
try, good try. It was a
definitely
two,
going
so
on
it
the
don't
highlight
matter.
reel. Y'all ready? Go! Going for
Oh,
three.
dude, I keep trying to pump fake.
Big rebound. Keep
Dude, the
racking
pump
up
fake
those
is not
assists.
working right now.
They full on defense. Nice pass.
I wonder if I clicked Y.
Oh,
I'm sorry, dude. Pump fake is not
unbelievable.
working right now.
Y'all ready for
Ugh.
this? Check.
No, I tried to pass the Tide Pods.
Keep
Hit it, Tide
racking
Pods.
up
You got
those
this.
assists. Y'all need a clutch play right quick. They
Oh,
switching to the D.
good try. Nice.
Going for the three-pointer. Anyone's
Shoot.
game here. Trying for a jump shot. Never any doubt on
I'm
that.
not playing good right now. I'm just
Y'all ready?
thinking right.
Go! Oh,
Nice.
Right to the hole.
Alright, I need a pump fake
Y'all ready?
once I get the ball again.
Go! Oh, round threat.
Alright. We just need one more three.
Y'all ready? Check. Oh, from down. Tap. Clutch
Let's
play
go.
right there. Hey, y'all ready? Check. They playing hard
Whoa.
right now. It's
My
in.
bad.
Hey, y'all ready? Go. Going for
Oh my-
son. Y'all need a clutch finals. Going for the high.
That was scary. Thank you, Tide Pods.
Hey, yo,
Alright.
y'all ready? Go. From downtown.
Let's go. Oh, it's not over. It's not over. I just realized. Oh my god!
Picking up those assists.
Come on, teammate! That's your guy! Oh, man. Teammate. I have no more freaking quick shots anymore.
Racking up those assists.
Oh my gosh, teammate, please.
From outside. Great shot.
That was scary. I don't have quick shot no more, so
Hey, y'all ready?
that makes a huge difference with Ox Queen.
Check. Keep it moving. Oh,
We're good. It's a 2. Oh, I'm getting another phone call.
Y'all ready? Check. Banging right through him. Ooh, we got a nail biter going on here. Right to the hole. Y'all ready for this? Check. Going for broke. Coming up on the buzzer. Oh, now that right there could be a game changer. Y'all better speed. Final seconds. Nice.
Oh my gosh, teammate! I'm so mad at teammate because I ran out of quick shots and then it's over. Teammate, man. Why did he have to do that? All you had to do was cover your guy. It's all good. I wasn't shooting well anyways. It wasn't teammates' complete fault.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Check. Big rebound. Going for broke. Dunked it.
Nice shot.
Y'all ready? Go. They playing their hearts out right now. They racking them
Good
up.
try, good try. At least it was a 2. That's perfect.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Ha! Launching a trifecta. Racking.
Nice shot.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Oh, from down. Tap. Hey, yo, nice rebound. Coming up on the buzzer. Racking up those assists. Stuffed. Y'all ready? Go. You see that steal? From outside. Oh,
Nice
that was
shot.
key. Y'all ready? Go. Nice pass. Beating that D. Solid pass right there. Oh,
Nice
big
defense.
block.
I'm getting another phone
Shooting for three
call.
right now. Hey, yo, nice rebound.
What?
Oh, solid pass right there. Now or never. Great shot. Y'all ready for this? Check. Hey, yo, watch this, watch this. They just keep taking it to him. Y'all ready for this? Go. From downtown. Impressive. Hey, y'all ready? Go! Don't you even think about blinking. This one's for the highlight reel. Y'all ready? Go! Oh, shooting for three? Impressive. Y'all ready for this? Check. Racking up those assists. Solid pass right there. Oh, y'all need a clutch play. Got the trifecta. Y'all ready for this? Check. Coming up on the buzzer. No doubt. Never any doubt on that one. Y'all ready?
Ready for a pass.
Go! Almost out. Hey, yo, final seconds. Straight racking up those assists. Racking up those assists. Getting it done in the clutch. Hey, y'all ready? Check. Oh, it's a big shot right here. You see that rebound? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Check. Ho ho! Clutch rebound. Oh, solid pass right there. What a rebound! They switch into the D.
Yogi, yogi.
Ooh, big block. Flashing. Oh, intercepted. They D'ing up.
Yogi, yogi.
Shooting for three right now. What a rebound. Y'all better speed things up. We're coming up on the buzzer right now. Thing of beauty. Y'all ready?
Sorry, I keep getting phone calls.
Go! Nice pass. That was key. Y'all ready? Check. From nothing's getting through. Ooh, perfect pass.
It's a two. Oh!
Y'all need a clutch play right quick. From down.
Nice shot.
Y'all ready? Go. Shooting for three. Dang!
Good try. Oh man, it's been a busy day. I'm playing Xbox, but I'm also making deals over here on the side. It gets a little stressful over here. Oh man. Working while playing games, always stressful.
Y'all ready? Check. Hey, yo, what?
Oh, good try, good try.
Y'all need now or never, baby. Keep racking up those assists. No question
Oh,
about that.
teammate, man. Teammate, please. I know it's not your fault, Tripods, but we shouldn't be in this mess. Our teammate freaking screwed us. Please switch. We need you to switch. Oh, you're not. Oh, God. Alright, I trust Tripods. You'll hit rebounds with your guy. I don't know why. We can't miss. We gotta make smart decisions on our shots because we don't have a rebounder.
Hey, y'all ready?
I mean, I believe Tripods you'll be able to rebound and everything,
Go.
but still.
Shooting.
Oh no!
Now.
I thought that was our teammate. I'm so sorry. No, pass it to teammate. Pass it, pass it. What are you doing? Dude, Tripods, well, you were open and the teammate wouldn't pass it to you. Oh my God, teammate. Bro, you had one job and pass it to the open person.
Clutch rebound.
Oh.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, guys. That was also my fault, but still.
And here's the MVP.
I was able to recover
Give me a
from
like,
Tripods
please.
killed it.
Thank you for subscribing.
Rip, man. Good job, Tripods. We should have won that first round, but our teammate... And I don't know, I'm just... It's all good, Tripods. It's not your fault. Our teammate made us lose that last shot on that first round. We were winning. All we had to do was hold the ball. And then we would have been fine, but he let them hit a three. Alright, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. We got this. Don't worry. We got this. It's good FYI to know. I'll play serious. Is he at, I'm guessing if he leaves, he's pretty good then. If he leaves, then he's still double S, so.
Check. You see that? They solid pass right there.
Oh, I thought. Hey-ya!
You see that
What?
rebound? Solid pass right there. Now or never. No
right.
doubt. Never.
I
any
should play
doubt on
defense.
that one. Y'all ready for this? Go!
What am I doing? Oh my God.
Y'all need a clutch play.
I'm guessing Tripods is lagging.
Oh, what?
Damn.
Y'all ready? Check.
We'll come back.
They going for a fadeaway? Ayo, nice rebound. Now or never, baby. Trying for a jump shot. Huge.
Good shit.
Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. That was smooth. Y'all ready? Go! Coming up on the buzzer. Hey, yo, what? D's looking sharp. D's looking... Oh!
Nice.
Big solid pass right there.
Good job.
That was key. Y'all ready? Go. Nice pass. D's looking sharp. Anyone's game right here. Nice pass. Shooting for three right now. Nothing but net, baby. Y'all ready? Go!
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Dialing. Great shot. Hey, y'all ready? Check. Oh, from downtown.
Dang! Deacon just
Great
threw
shot.
freaking Jesse on the ground. That's crazy.
Hey, y'all ready?
Good job, guys.
Go! Oh, I
No
solid
way.
D, solid D. Squeeze that ball. Now or never, baby. Final second.
Am I lagging? I'm guessing I'm lagging. I'm seeing everyone
And
wide open.
It goes.
I'm lagging.
Y'all ready? Go! Keep hustling, ain't over till it's over.
Nice shot. Good try.
Dog got this one covered. I'm on him. I'm on him.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Go! What a rebound! Perfect pass! D.
My fault.
Whoa.
My fault. I don't know what I'm doing, man.
Y'all ready?
I'm losing focus here.
Check. Going for the three-pointer. In the hole. Y'all ready for this? Check.
What am I doing?
Downtown. Hey, yo, what's almost out of time? Squeeze that ball. Coming up, a solid pass right there. Which way is it gonna go? Hey, yo, D's looking sharp. Ooh.
How'd he make that? I was in his face.
Y'all ready? Check. Shooting for three. Jammed with
Nice
authority. Y'all ready? Check. Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. Huge rebound. Y'all better speed things up. We're coming up on the buzzer right now. Dialing long distance. Pounding those boards. Now or never, baby. Straight racking up those assists. Big rebound.
Oh, I boxed out the center for you, center.
Nice pass.
And you
Y'all
didn't get
better
it.
speed things up. We're coming up on the buzzer right now. Oh, from deep. Y'all need a clutch play. Banging right through him. Trifecta.
Nice shot.
Thing of beauty. Y'all ready? Go. Don't you even think about blinking. That's a clutch rebound. Racking up those assists. Keep racking up those assists. From downtown. Never any doubt on that one.
Yeah, I don't
ready?
know. I'm losing focus. I don't know why.
Y'all need to make it. Final
It's no one's fault,
seconds.
but we got this. We got the dub.
Nice pass. Nice pass. It's in.
Let's go. You did good.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Which way is it gonna go? You see that rebound? Oh, solid pass right there.
Good
That
game,
was
good
one
game.
heck of a game. And here's the MVP of
Give
the
me a
match.
like, please. Thank you for subscribing.
You did good, Tide Pods. 15 points, 4 rebounds, and you weren't even... Were you a rebounder? Yeah, you were. Killing it. Hey, what up, Redbird? How's it going, dude? It's been a while. What have you been up to, Redbird? Dang, you moved to St. Louis? What the hell? That's crazy. I don't know if you know, but I'm in Arizona now. I don't know if you knew about that. I'm from California, but moved to Arizona. Oh, you moved for school? Okay, okay. What are you majoring in? I'm guessing college. Okay, okay. Your max is better than your Deacon at shooting. You're rebounding good too, so getting a little nerf won't change anything, I don't think.
Y'all ready?
I'm in Yuma.
Go!
Got my own
Squeeze that
place in
ball.
Yuma now and just chilling.
Swish! Y'all
Oh,
ready for
business.
this? Check. Now that's a block. Goes
Boom,
the road.
that juke move. Yeah, I'm out here for business. No longer sports. I got injured in college, so I couldn't play no more.
Impressive. Y'all ready for this?
Oh, you were out there for us,
Go.
dude. We could have hung out or something.
Going for the three-pointer.
Oh, what? I was wide open. I hit a
Solid
green.
pass right there.
This game. I hit green. Oh my gosh, wide open. For
Y'all
real.
ready for this? Go!
Teammate, what are you doing?
Ayo, nice rebound. Straight racking up those assists.
Stream
Straight
saw that
racking
was
up those
green,
assists. They
open,
full
wide
on
open, and
defense
still
right now.
miss. Makes no sense to me. I have platinum packs on this
Coming
card.
up on the buzzer. Nice pass.
Oh yeah, I know I coached you.
Yeah, baby.
You're Redbird boy.
Y'all ready? Go! Don't blink,
Oh.
yo. Making it
Ooh.
look bad.
This game makes no sense. I hit red and no one's covering me. I hit red and no one, someone's covering me, I still make it. But then when I'm wide open, I hit green, I don't make it. Makes no sense. But yeah, I remember back in the day when I was
That D's looking a
coaching
bit ragged
Little
right
League in
now.
high
Y'all need a
school.
clutch play. Ooh.
I don't remember your name, but I know who you are.
That's looking good.
You used to play first base.
Y'all ready for this? Go! Nice pass. Oh, that's a nice
Good try,
block.
good try. How did we even lose
Nice
this,
pass.
to be honest? Like, I
That was
hit...
key.
Yeah, juniors is still Little League, but yes.
Go!
Yes, I remember.
Long distance call.
Oh my god, this game... Alright.
What?
This game is pissing me off,
Rebound.
for real.
Keep racking up those assists. Jump shot.
I'm sorry, Tide Pods.
Squeeze that ball. Solid pass. Now or never, baby. Y'all better speed final seconds. Oh, from down. Tap. Dunked it. Hey, y'all ready?
We started losing because of the freaking...
You see that steal?
That stupid wide open green shot that was missed. I have platinum packs and everything, but you're trying to be an agent now? Like for baseball? Like a baseball agent? Yeah, what kind of agent? Baseball agent? FBI agent? It's not your fault, Tide Pods. This game ripped me off on that 3-point shot that should have gone in. It was 5-3. We would have been up by 1 point, and it would have been a closer game. That's so stupid.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Go! What a rebound!
Bro!
Nice pass. Nice pass. In the hole. They full on defense right now.
Hey, that's awesome,
Y'all ready
dude.
for this? Go! Keep it moving.
We don't need it too, bro.
Block. Nice pass. It's in.
You're trying to be a MLB agent. Nice, dude. That would be sick. They make a lot of money.
Go! What a pass.
Got to be a good negotiator, you know?
Perfect pass. Keep racking up those assists. With
At least it's a
authority.
2. Could have been my agent, bro. Nah, if I didn't get injured, could have been my agent. Oh no, teammate.
From downtown. Key rebound.
I got you, Tide Pods.
Now or never, baby. Going for the
Good try, good try.
Not happening.
Come on, hit the rim. Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Rebound. You see that? They racking up those assists. That's a great
Golly,
shot.
it's now that I'm having troubles just
Y'all ready?
focusing on this game because we're just buying
Go!
things, man.
Trying for
Should
a
have
jump
not
shot.
streamed and then bought some. Oh my teammate,
Rebound.
please.
Solid pass.
And
right
then you
there.
quit?
Uh-huh.
Like, come on, dude.
Hey, y'all ready?
Oh, you got Jacob now? Is he still playing baseball? How is he doing? I haven't heard from him in a while. Is he playing baseball still?
Going for the three-pointer. Oh, it's in. Y'all ready? Check. Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. Oh, from down. Racking him up.
He's playing in college? Where's he playing at?
Y'all ready for this? Check.
What the hell? That's crazy.
Nice pass. All the way from down in the hole. Y'all ready? Check. Bam! Not almost out of time from downtown. Those boards are getting pounded.
My fault, man. I'm just not. I don't know,
Come
man.
AO final seconds.
Mesa College? Okay. That's awesome, though. Mesa
Now or
College
never,
is a good
baby.
college.
Ain't over till it's over. Hey, don't feel too bad about taking that L, y'all. Today's MVP is...
Max? Max? Oh, my honey!
For real, dude. He messed everything up. Bruh. That was terrible. They weren't even good. We need a third. For real. I know. Oh man, we went undefeated like 5 times, and now it's been a struggle. That's cool though, Redbird. It's a good team. Yeah. Had I not got injured, I would still be playing baseball right now. Yeah, how's the hoe with that shot impediment? Let me see if I can, what I got on my Ayla. Oh, my controller died. My controller died. Sorry. Oh, man. I'm 26 now, but yeah, man. It sucks because, yeah. How about you? How old are you now? But yeah, man. I was a good baseball player. I had a scholarship, had everything going, and I got injured. And,
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, everything kind of
Check.
went down from there.
Huge rebound. Going for nice block. Racking up those assists. Coming up on the buzzer. Jump shot.
I wonder why we can't call timeout. I'm gonna call timeout. 19? What the hell?
Y'all ready for this?
Jeez.
Check.
That's crazy.
They playing hard. D's looking sharp.
Got a whole life ahead of you
You
still.
see that rebound? Oh, that's smooth. Clutch play
What?
right there. Y'all
That's
ready?
crazy. I didn't realize how much older I
Check.
was. I think we're just gonna have to shoot twos.
Racking
You
up
can
those
shoot threes, but
assists.
they're covering me really
From
well.
downtown. That's a clutch rebound.
Oh, hit it, team.
That's right there. Y'all
Oh
better
yeah,
hurry
we're gonna
up.
have to shoot
Coming
two.
up on the
Oh,
buzzer.
all right.
Going for a fadeaway.
Come on.
Oh, key rebound. Racking up those assists. They switching to the D. Huge rebound. Solid pass right there. They just
Frick.
keep pounding those boards. They D'ing up. Driving to the back. Doing what it takes. Y'all ready?
I went to school at
Go.
Southwestern because I couldn't complete
Solid pass right there. You
complete
see that rebound?
my
That was
yeah. I don't
smooth.
even know. I'm just distracted here.
Y'all ready for this? Check.
It would have been Baker University,
Racking
but
up those assists.
once I got
Catching
hurt,
some air. Oh,
I
this
couldn't
one's for the highlight
anymore,
reel.
so I went to Southwestern College
Y'all
in
ready?
San Diego.
Go. They leaving it up. Oh, watch out
Nice.
now. Watch out now. Y'all ready for this? Check. Keep racking up, driving to the basket. School's in session. Y'all ready for this? Check. Oh, from outside. And in it goes. Y'all ready? Check. Getting a bit physical. Straight racking up those
Where'd he get there?
assists. He's flashing some nice moves. Y'all better speed. Ayo, final seconds. Looking for the bucket. What a rebound. Hurry it up. Y'all running out of time.
Let's go, buzzer beater! Yeah. It kind of sucks, though. Because it would have changed my life completely going to that But now I'm stuck here saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Oh man.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Go!
Song playing.
Big rebound.
Pretty funny.
Hey yo, watch this, watch this. Y'all
Dang,
better
this Leo
speed
boxed
up.
me out and got the
Buzzer
rebound?
right now. Now
My
right here,
fault.
D is straight racking up those assists. Oh, solid pass right there. Nice block. Straight racking. Oh, solid pass right there. What?
Damn, this lead is
Rebound.
boxing me out.
D is racking up those assists. Beating that D. Swat.
Nice defense.
Big dunk. Coming
Good
up
defense.
on the buzzer.
Oh, I lagged.
Racking up those assists. Perfect form. Oh, big rebound. Y'all better hurry up. You see that steal? Almost out of time. Keep racking up the. Not today, son. Pounding those
That's what's
balls.
crazy about Jack. This is a defense game right there. Good job. Right there.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, things do happen for a reason.
Check.
I get that and I come to terms with that,
What
but
it takes.
it sucks sometimes having to remember
Y'all
that.
ready? Go! Looking for the bucket, racking them up. Y'all ready for this? Check. What's it gon' oh, putting it
Let's
back.
go! Tide Pods!
Racking up those assists. Aight, perfect form. Anyone's game. Y'all better hurry up, we coming up on the buzzer. From
Dang, that was perfect.
Big
Damn it.
rebound. Y'all need a clutch final second. It's up.
Oh my gosh, I can't out-rebound this Liu. But yeah.
Well, that was
That's cool though that you're in college now, you're chilling.
And here's the MVP of the match.
Are you on campus or are you Well, thanks Redbird for stopping by. It's been a long time. It's always good to catch up with good old friends. You know? My Jack can't hit it wide to save my life. It's all good. We got the dub. We only need, I believe, 3 more games. Or 2, possibly. Staying with your aunt? That's what I did too when I was going to Southwestern College. In the very beginning, I started off by living with my aunt and uncle, which was a fun time. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I had a good time out there. And then once a year passed, I came back. And that's when I decided I wanted to coach a little bit, maybe get back into baseball. And then it just never clicked again. But peace. Should stop by more often. Alright, let's get this dub. You did good last round, Tide Pods. Kept us in the game. If it wasn't for you, we would have lost.
Y'all ready? Go! Squeeze that ball. Now right here, D is gonna be key. All day,
Dang.
baby. Y'all ready for this?
I got a pump fake.
Check. Going big. Ayo, nice rebound. Coming up on the buzzer. Uh-oh, which way is it gonna go?
Let's go.
Dang.
Good rebound, by the way.
Y'all ready?
I meant to pump fake and then accidentally shot.
Check. Launching a trifecta.
Good job.
You see that rebound? Straight racking up those assists. Nice pass. Got it.
Ew.
Y'all ready? Check.
Over here. Whoa.
Shooting for 3 right now. Now
Dang.
that's key.
That guy's good.
Y'all ready for this? Go! Launching a trifecta. Swish! Hey, y'all ready?
Pass.
Check.
Whoa.
Pass.
Hey, yo, he flashing some nice moves. Coming up, nice pass. Nice pass.
Good job.
What?
I got a pump fake whenever I get the
Rebound.
ball again. Ah,
Great
let's
shot.
go. I was like, we can't be shooting twos, but then
Y'all
we got
ready?
the lead, so we're a little bit ahead. We can shoot a little,
Check.
one, maybe
Going
1, 2.
for 3. Hey, yo, nice
Nice. All
rebound.
right, we're good. Oh, you're open.
Solid pass right there. Got
Let's
the
go.
trifecta. Y'all ready for this? Go. Beating that D. Ooh, perfect pass. They just keep taking it to him. Y'all ready for this? Check. Shooting for 3.
That was
it's
easy.
in. Y'all ready for this? Go! Long. Oh,
Nice defense,
denied.
buddy.
Going big. Coming up on the final second.
That would have been cool if he would have
You
hit
see
that.
that
Oh,
speed?
what?
Perfect pass. Which nice block. It's up.
Good defense, Tide Pods. We killed it that round.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Check. What a rebound. Dialing long distance. Oh.
What?
Oh, they
Oh,
got look
no.
bad. They switching. Y'all ready for this? Go. Now or never, baby. They playing hard right now. Racking
Nice
them
shot.
up. Hey, y'all ready? Go. Long distance call.
Alright, cool.
Nice pass.
Nice.
Launching a trifecta.
You juked him.
Oh, damn. Y'all ready for this? Go.
Oh, what?
Huge rebound. Keep racking up those assists.
Oh no.
They full on defense right now. Somebody
Nice
call the cops. That
defense,
can't be
dang.
legal. Solid pass. Nice pass. Highlight
Let's go.
reel. Y'all ready for this? Go. Highlight reel.
So I heard
Y'all ready for this?
Rin might get a side hop for P6.
Check. Like a
I'll
brick
try.
wall.
No way, don't. Oh, what? I jumped and everything. I was in his face.
They full
It's
on.
okay.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, I'm playing center.
Check.
Me and Typod are kicking ass today.
Those
Oh my gosh!
You see that? They full on defense right
Hold on, I'm getting a
now.
phone call again.
Oh, is he? He putting it up on the with authority. Y'all ready? Go. Putting it back, racking up those assists. Now or never, baby. And in it goes. Y'all ready? Go. Anyone's game. Oh, now that right there could be a game changer. All the way from downtown. That's a thing of beauty.
The freaking center's killing it.
Y'all ready?
I'm playing defense. I'm playing in his face
Go.
too.
Coming up on the final seconds. Going big. Oh!
Perfect.
Y'all ready for
Yeah, I
this?
know. I wish you were here too, so I didn't have to play center
Go!
here. But also because you're a good
Over
homie and
fadeaway.
I love playing with you. Let's go.
Not this time. Uh-oh, we going. Y'all ready for this?
Either way, I would have to still play center because
Squeeze that ball.
at least one round of center.
Oh, this one's for the highlight reel.
For those of you who don't
Y'all
know,
ready?
Ice Banner or Iceman is my brother.
Check.
So yeah,
From down. Big jam.
good job.
Y'all ready? Check.
Oh no!
Assists.
My fault. Oh my gosh. I was playing lackadaisy defense
Y'all
right
ready?
there.
Check. From downtown.
I got it. Let's go.
Pass right there. Y'all better hurry up. Ooh,
No!
nailed by
Oh man, good try.
They switching to the D. Going for a fadeaway. D's looking sharp. Ooh, it's nailed by the nice pass. Coming up, keep racking up those assists.
Dang.
Oh, fine, that's a clutch rebound. Racking up those assists.
That's terrible.
Nice.
I can't play center.
He putting it up on the fade? Jammed with
Damn.
authority.
Oh, it's all good. What up, Rolex? It's all good, man. We could call timeout if we start having a hard
Hey,
time.
y'all ready? Hey, y'all ready?
Oh no.
Check. Big chip out. Now right here, D is gonna
Who
be
do I
key.
cover? I don't know who to cover.
Big rebound. From outside.
Let's go.
Highlight
That was a
reel.
good way to start the game.
Hey,
Yeah,
y'all
if we're having troubles, you could start using
Go.
Ox Queen.
Hey,
But
watch this.
what
watch
up,
this.
Rolex? Welcome back to the stream. It's good having you back.
All the y'all need
Oh,
to make
no.
it happen right now. Beating that.
I'm
D.
sorry, Typods. I was trying. I'm
Squeeze
sorry.
that ball. Solid pass. Right
They
they switching to the D. jamming it. Oh man, I got hurt just watching that.
I should have hit that. I freaked out when I saw two guys coming after me, but you could use. Yeah. Let's get it. Yeah, we are doing pretty good today, Kim Cashier. We've been struggling a little bit towards the end because I've been a little bit more distracted because keep getting phone calls. But for those of you who don't know, I bought a Mustang, and I've been talking on the phone with my my other brother because he went and bought it for me. So that's why I've been distracted. It's a black 1996 Mustang.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, honestly, PC does get all the rebounds.
Hey, yo, what? Oh, what it?
That was my fault, iPods. I was open, and I don't trust myself with Ayla.
Oh, they going for a fadeaway? What a rebound! Y'all need a clutch play right quick. Oh, key rebound.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Y'all better speed
We're
things up.
struggling right
Coming up
now
on
to
the
get that
buzzer right
rebound.
now. What's it gonna be?
Let's go.
Nothing's getting through. Oh, now that right there could be a game changer. What a pass!
Don't shoot it too.
Go.
Let's go, Tide Pods.
Swish.
I gotta learn how to use that move.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, I have a total of
Check.
3 Mustangs. I've owned a total of 4.
Right through 'em. Ooh, perfect pass. Taking it to him.
Yeah, I'm a Mustang kind of
Y'all
person.
ready? Check. Going for 3. Oh, it's in.
I owned a white one at one point, and I own a blue and red one,
Nice pass.
and now a black
Nice
one.
pass.
So
Swish. Y'all ready?
between all my family members, we have a total of probably 8 Mustangs,
Racking up those assists. Oh, damn.
which is crazy.
Y'all ready? Go! Long distance call. Racking up. Y'all need a clutch. Final seconds. Going for
Way to get the win, though, guys.
big rebound.
Tide Pods for the finale.
Which way's it gonna go?
Oh, good try, good try.
Uh-oh.
I know, you're the one that told me. I was talking about it earlier. I was like, Rin might get a side hop.
And today's MVP.
Rolex is my guy getting me all my intel. Let's go. Good game. Their center scored 25 points, and he's a center. That's crazy. My Ox Queen can hit half-court shots, but she can't hit open shots that hit green. It makes no sense. So I don't know what's a better trade. Can't hit half-court shots, but can hit threes most of the time. Or can hit half-court shots, but can't hit open shots. I don't know which one's better. Ooh, we're playing a triple S team. Let's go. What up, guys? We're just chilling, playing some 3-on-3. Playing a triple S team, even though we're single S. Makes no sense to me. But it's all good. Draco is good. Oh man, I'm barely a single S center. Maybe even just an A center. And we're playing triple S. Well, they're double S, so it's not a big deal. They have an A, so it shouldn't be that bad. He streams on Twitch now, too. Okay. Draco, if you see this, I'm a main Ox
Y'all
player
ready?
and not a center. But since it's best out of 3, I have to use...
Check.
Yeah.
What a rebound. D is gone. All right, solid D. Huge rebound.
Watch out, center's coming.
Now or never, baby.
Good try.
Thing of beauty. Y'all ready? Check. Shooting. Oh, denied. That's smooth right there.
Oh no!
Squeeze that ball. Racking up those assists.
What's up, Draco? Oh, what's up, Draco? 2 rebound. I know you don't have a guy playing, but still.
From downtown.
Oh my gosh!
Perfect pass. Almost out of time.
Jack is not hitting today. What the hell?
Defense.
It's not your fault.
Racking up those assists.
Oh, they messed up. Oh, he's playing.
Here comes
Get him out, boy.
Now or never, baby. Order of stuff. They just keep taking it to him. Y'all ready for this? Go. Racking
Come on,
up those
hit it.
assists. Ayo, nice
Dang.
rebound. They
What the
D'ing
hell?
up. Almost out of time.
What?
A rebound.
How am I not getting this?
Y'all need to make it happen right now. Long distance call. No doubt.
Let's go.
Never any doubt on that one. Y'all ready? Go! What a pass.
I tried to bait him.
Y'all ready?
I don't know, Rolex. I live or die by the 3. If that's, I don't know why that's how I like to play, but
You see that?
golly,
Solid pass right there. Oh, this one's for the highlight reel.
I can't rebound. He's out rebounding me.
Y'all ready for this? Go! They going for broke. Swish. Y'all ready for this? Check. Coming up on the final seconds. Game ain't over till it's over.
Hey, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate it. Always good. Always like the support. Helps out the channel and makes me happy. Oh, you know you can't rebound against Draco. That makes sense. Yeah, Draco's good. So he's been triple S before. He's got the tags, got the crown. Both of them got the crown.
Y'all ready?
I'm not a triple S center or a double S, but I try.
Rebound.
I try what I can.
Now right here, D is gonna be key. Y'all need to straight racking up those assists. You see that steal?
Let's
Going
go.
for 3. Swish. Y'all ready? Go. Going for a jump shot. Great shot. Y'all ready?
You got he's ranked 13 in the West. Dang, that's crazy. Whenever he is. Oh no!
They D'ing up.
Dang,
Trying for a jump shot. Oh, it's in.
that was my fault. I wasn't
Y'all
paying
ready?
attention.
Check. Straight racking up those assists.
Let's go.
It's in.
Good shot, guy. Good pass to him.
Y'all ready? Go. Trifecta. Chip out.
Get out of my house, boy!
Oh, damn, they're going for broke.
Ah!
Up.
I wish he would have hit
Long
3.
distance. Hey, chip out.
Oh no! Tide Pods is lagging! I passed it to you. I trusted you. No, I'm just kidding. It's not your fault.
Coming up on the buzzer.
We were beating them too, but that's because their A is not playing. But still, they shouldn't be matched up with us. That sucks that their A didn't play.
Oh, no.
Ah, man. Are you out of the game completely, or are you just lagging for the round? We called timeout, so. I think I'm going to start chip out on this because every time I chip out, I beat him. Oh, you don't know if you're out of the game or not? Oh, no! You're not in the timeout. That's not good. No! Tide Pods has been terminated! Let's see if I can take them on. We both lost a player, so... we're winning, but... Yeah, it does have priority over power rebound.
Check. That was smooth.
Dang, that's game.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Hey, yo, watch this. Watch this. You see
No!
that rebound? You see that?
I took too long to chip
Full
out.
on defense right now. It's in.
Dang. That sucks.
Y'all ready?
We would have won too if Tide Pods didn't get lagged out.
Big block.
We were winning and
Downtown. It's in.
then he lagged out. We lost the possession.
Y'all ready for this?
It's not anybody's
Go.
fault.
From outside. Hey, yo, nice.
Whatever.
You see that? They
I boxed
full
him
on
out and
defense right
everything.
now. Great shot. Hey, y'all ready? Go! Y'all need a clutch. Hey, yo, final second. Hey, chip out. Chip out. Huge rebound. D is gone. Oh, denied. Which way is it gonna go? Not today, Superman. Today's MVP is...
Time to make some highlight clips. Too easy. Ouch.
Alright, we're gonna get Tide Pods back in the game, but it would have been a good game if Iceman, Tide Pods, all of us were in it. Only 2 more games. There we go, Tide Pods is back. I see, I see. Well, welcome back. Let's get it. I think we found a match because my thing is stuck. Oh, what? That was weird. What? Oh no! What happened? You there, Tide Pods? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, what? You lost points? Dude. For getting kicked out of the queue? That is so stupid because now we have to play even that much more. All we need is 2 more wins. That's all we got. They took 10. What's your score at? Are we playing triple S's? Usually when you see a fox and an ox queen together, triple S. Usually, from what I've seen. Oh, okay, okay.
Y'all ready? Check. Ayo, nice rebound. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
Right there.
Let's go. Good shot.
Y'all ready? Check. Stole it.
Let's go.
From down to in the hole.
There you go, Tide Pods going ham and cheese.
Y'all ready for this? Go.
That screen actually helped me. I was about to
Some
jump
nice
too.
moves. Shoot.
No way he makes that. I was in his face.
Oh, key rebound. Launching a trifecta. Y'all need to make it happen right now.
Dang,
Trifecta.
he got there.
In the hole.
Our center's fast. He was playing defense,
Y'all
then
ready
came
for
back
this?
for that rebound.
Check. That D's looking a bit ragged right now. Don't blink, yo. You see that?
Let's go.
Nice pass. No question about that.
Sad face for them.
Y'all ready? Check. Keep racking up those assists. Doing what it takes.
Good try, center. Wasn't your fault.
Y'all ready? Go. From downtown. Swish.
Nice.
Hey, y'all ready?
Tide Pod's going ham. I don't think he's missed once
Check.
right now. Oh, he got me.
Downtown. Great
Ah, sorry guys.
shot. Y'all ready?
Dang, Tide Pod's 5 for 5. Let's go.
Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. Going for 3. Oh, that was
Let's
good.
go. 6 for 6.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Ha!
No way.
Looking sharp.
I didn't. Nah,
Impressive.
I didn't play good enough defense. Dang.
Y'all ready for this? Check. Going for the 3-pointer. Impressive.
7 for 7.
Y'all ready? Go. Long.
No way, boy.
Solid pass. Bang. Not happening. Blinking, you might miss this one. Nothing but net, baby. Y'all ready for this? Check. Going big. That's a big chip out. Jump shot from downtown. Racking them
Let's
up.
go.
Y'all ready? Almost out of time. Final second.
No way.
Dang.
What? I put blind defense and I jumped with them. This is
Y'all ready for
crazy.
this? Check. Keep it going. Keep it moving. Ain't over till it's over.
Nice.
Dang. Y'all ready? Check. Keep hustling. Ain't over till it's over.
Hey, you got millionaire on Jack? I didn't realize. I like that, Jesse.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Check. Oh, big rebound. Oh, shooting for three?
No way.
Thing of beauty.
Jesse's crazy. She
Y'all
could
ready
hit
for this?
threes. Contested.
Go. Going for the three-pointer. And it's in. Y'all ready for this? Go. Oh, perfect form.
Nice.
What a rebound. Nice pass. Coming up on the bus, a big
Oh, good
block
try.
right there. Going for
Let's
the
go.
three.
What?
Son.
Oh, what?
Defense
He was
right
nowhere near my green circle. That's crazy. He just jumped. And he made it.
Nice
Makes
pass.
no sense. This game is crazy. He just jumped.
Y'all ready? Check.
Alright, this time I know what he's gonna do, so.
Y'all better hurry up. We come. Solid pass right there.
Let's go.
Dang! Y'all ready? Go! That's smooth. Nice moves. Y'all ready? Check. Oh, big.
Oh my. How?
Launching a trifecta. That's a clutch rebound.
We're gonna have to shoot twos.
Hey, yo, he flashing some nice moves. Going for the nice
Oh my. He's nowhere near me.
jump shot. Key rebound.
This game is stupid.
Almost out. Hey, yo, final seconds. That D's looking a bit ragged. Big shot right here.
Nice shot.
Y'all ready for this? Check. It's up.
Good job.
Denied.
That was so stupid. I gotta play that
Well, that
back.
was a piece of cake. And here's the MVP of
Give
the
me a
match.
like, please. Thank you
I
for
do not
subscribing.
think he was close to me at all. Hey, at least you hit it, dude. That was a good buzzer beater, honestly. You were actually praying it went in. Thank you, Rolex. Let's go. I only need one more game and then I'm double S. I'm replaying this. He was nowhere near me. Honestly, for high ping, I don't know who would be a good player for. I don't know who would be a good player for high ping. Oh yeah, Jack would be a really good character. That was some baloney. Looking back at the replay, the guy was nowhere near me and he still hits. We're playing a triple S Liu. It's gonna be a salty game.
Y'all ready? Check. Squeeze that ball. You see that rebound? Keep racking up those assists. Great shot.
Let's go.
Y'all ready? Check. Going for him. Jammed it big time. Y'all ready? Check. Dialing long distance. Never any doubt on that one. Y'all ready for this? Keep racking up those
That's
assists.
a hit. Oh, he missed the two.
Oh, big rebound. Oh, solid pass right there. Going big.
Let's go.
But net, baby.
Oh, you want a
Ready?
lag shot? I see. Maybe Ayla or
They
Chloe?
look solid D. Racking them
Oh,
up.
what? I was interface. That's okay.
Y'all ready for this? Go. Oh.
No, I meant to pump fake.
Hey, yo,
I'm
nice
so
rebound. You see
stupid.
that? They
I hate this
full
game
on
right now. It's not letting me
defense
pump
right
fake
now.
today.
Oh, man. Getting physical right
Damn,
here.
that sucks.
Y'all ready?
Meant to pump
Check.
fake, and now our teammate. Huh! Yeah.
Oh, solid pass right. Keep racking
I was
up
trying to
those
pass it to
assists.
him because I saw him wide open,
Making
but
it
kept
look
going to our
easy.
teammate.
Hey, y'all ready? Check. Not
Good job.
today. You see that rebound? Going for the three-pointer. Great shot. Y'all ready for this? Go.
Can you give me a pass? My artistic alley-oop.
You see that steal? Jump
Damn,
shot.
we
Taking it.
smacked them and then their teammate quit. That's messed
You
up.
ready?
This guy's a triple S. You can't be quitting on a triple S like
Check.
that. They need the points, man.
Going for broke.
That's bad.
Thing of beauty.
Good job,
Y'all
Tide
ready
Pods.
for this?
We made their teammate
Go.
quit.
Going for the three-pointer. That's a thing.
Oh!
Y'all ready for this? Go! From outside. Big rebound. From downtown. Oh, key rebound. Straight racking up, though. Coming up on the racking them up.
Tide Pods, you think if we win this game, you'll be a triple or
ready?
a double S?
Go! Almost out of time. Final seconds. Which way is it gonna go? In the hole!
He's probably going to play Jack 72. Oh, I better watch out. Walker is good. I've seen some killer triple S players
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready?
with Walker.
Check. Oh, big rebound. Straight
Oh, they're not
racking
playing?
up those assists.
They quit? Really?
That was key.
Dang.
Y'all ready? Check. You see that steal? Oh, solid pass right there. Oh, ho! On net, baby! Hey, y'all ready? Check. Don't blink. Nice block. Long distance call. Chip out. Big chip out. That's a big chip out. Oh, solid pass right there. Ooh, making it look easy. Y'all ready? Check. All D's looking sharp. Oh, key rebound. Oh, from downtown. And it's in. Y'all ready? Go! Going big. Coming up on the ball. Oh, big block. All right. Nice hustle. Nice hustle. Long distance call. That's a clutch rebound. Coming up on the buzzer. Going for the three-pointer. It's in. Y'all ready? Go! From downtown! All the way from downtown. Now that was key. Y'all ready? Check. Oh, that's smooth. Ho-ho! Clutch rebound! From y'all better hurry up. Final. Ayo,
Dang,
final second.
I tried.
Uh-huh. Nice pass. Nice pass. Clutch
Nice
play
job.
right there. Y'all ready? Go. It's up. What a rebound. Y'all know that was an easy game, right?
Good job,
And today's
Typos.
MVP is...
I'll be right back. Yeah, I walked away too. Hey, we're double S! Let's go! We did it! Oh, man. Alrighty guys, that's it for the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. NSN Lone Wolf, out. I think, maybe, we'll see. I'll wait a little bit. Hey, what up, Cybercore? We just hit double S right now. We're just chilling. I'm waiting up on Tide Pods right now, and then we'll start it up when he's ready to go. What have you been up to, Cybercore? Oh, you gotta go, Tide Pods? Alright. I'm pretty sure that's it for the video. Thanks for coming around, Cyborg. We just hit double S. We're pretty happy about that. And I think we're gonna call it for the night. It was good playing with you, Tide Pods. Thanks for everything. Thanks for helping me get to double S. We did it together, so good shit. Alright, that's it for the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. And the sun